Here are today's team of 9 contestants about to play for £10,000. Only one of them will go home with the prize money. The others will leave with nothing as their teammates vote them the weakest link.
Welcome to the weakest link. Any of the 9 people in the studio here today could win up to £10,000. They don't know each other, however. If they want the prize money, they'll have to work as a team. But 8 of them will leave with nothing, as round by round we lose the player voted the weakest link. Let's meet the team.
I'm Andrea, I'm 26, a customer advisor from Bristol.
I'm Dave, I'm 44, unemployed from Blackburn in Lancashire.
I'm Heather, I'm 55, I'm a housewife from Glamorgan.
I'm Adam, I'm 22, I'm from Birmingham and I'm an Oxford graduate.
I'm Michael, I'm 39, I'm a part-time teacher from Margate.
I'm Miranda, a 36-year-old learning support assistant from Chigwell in Essex.
I'm Bryn, a 53-year-old plumber from Redditch in Worcestershire.
I'm Jill, I'm 49 years old and I'm a dinner lady from Derbyshire.
I'm Hassan, I'm 29, I'm from Fulham in London and I work for London Underground.
Now the rules. In each round the aim is to answer enough questions correctly to reach your £1,000 target within the time limit. The fastest way is to create a chain of 9 correct answers. Get your question wrong and you break the chain and you lose all the money in that chain. But if you say bank before the question is asked, the money is safe. However, you start a new chain from scratch. Remember, at the end of the round, only money that has been banked can be taken forward. In round 1, there are 3 minutes on the clock. We'll start with the person whose name is first alphabetically. That's you, Adam. Let's play the weakest link. And the first question is for £20. Start the clock. Adam, in nature, do European ladybirds hibernate in the winter?
Yes.
Correct. Michael, which famous photographer married supermodel Mary Helvin in 1975?
Bailey.
Correct. Miranda, US pioneer and adventurer Davy Crockett was born in which century, the 17th or 18th?
18th.
Correct. Bryn, in sport, in what English city can you find the rugby union team, the Tigers, and the football team, the Foxes?
Sheffield.
Leicester. Jill, in geography, is the county of Tipperary in Northern Ireland or the Republic of Ireland?
Republic of
Correct.
Ireland.
Hassan, what is the name of the largest lake in Africa?
Lake Victoria.
Correct. Andrea, in religion, which chemical element was known as brimstone, sulfur, carbon or steel?
Sulphur.
Correct. Dave, in classical music, what was the composer Wolfgang Mozart's middle name?
Amadeus.
Correct. Heather,
Bank.
to which country did Shirley Valentine go on holiday in the 1989 film starring Pauline Collins?
Greece.
Correct. Adam, a molecule of water is made up of 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of what?
Oxygen.
Correct. Michael, in the USA, Dulles Airport is just outside which city? Washington, D.C. or Seattle?
Seattle.
Washington, D.C. Miranda, complete the name of this 1960s pop band. Dave D, Dozy, Beaky, Mick and what?
Titch.
Correct. Bryn, a firefly is what type of insect, a fly or a beetle?
A beetle.
Correct. Jill, what A is a book consisting of a series of literary selections?
Pass.
Anthology. Hassan, what type of cutlery did Uri Geller become famous for bending in the early 1970s?
Spoons.
Correct. Andrea, what nationality is fashion designer Issey Miyake?
Japanese.
Correct. Dave, on some types of fishing hooks, what B is the name of the sharp point which faces away from the main tip?
A barb.
Correct. Heather, in the Grimm's fairy tale, who left a trail of breadcrumbs to find their way home?
Pass.
Hansel and Gretel. Adam, is Los Angeles behind or ahead of Greenwich Mean Time?
Behind.
Correct. Michael, in ancient history, what P was the name given to the common, poor people of ancient Rome?
Plebeian.
Correct. Miranda, in the animal kingdom, does the tortoise lay eggs or give birth to live young?
Lay eggs.
Correct. Bryn, in a camera, what A is the name given to the opening that allows light to pass through the lens onto the film?
Aperture.
Correct. Jill,
Bank.
in film, in which year was the first Star Wars movie? 1975, 1977 or 1979?
1975.
1977. Hassan, Whom does the organisation UNICEF assist or protect?
Children.
Correct. Andrea, in which sport played on a lawn is there a stroke called a roquet?
Croquet.
Correct. Dave, in the percussion section of an orchestra, what T are large tuned drums, sometimes known as kettle drums?
Timpani.
Correct. Heather,
Thanks.
in religion, St Swithin is buried in which cathedral, St Paul's, Winchester or Coventry?
Winchester.
Correct.
Thanks.
Adam, in which B is a card game? Time is up. I cannot complete the question. And out of the £1,000 available in that first round, you managed to bank 570. The question is, who is breaking the chains? Who is least likely to keep up with the pressure once the time goes down and you have to go faster? In other words, who's the worst player? One of you is about to leave with nothing. It's time to vote off the weakest link.
At the end of the first round, Adam is the strongest player statistically. The weakest link is Jill, but will the players have realised this?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Heather.
Jill.
Andrea.
Jill.
Jill.
Heather.
Jill.
Heather.
Bryn.
Michael! Why Jill?
Because I thought she got the most questions wrong.
Adam! You're doing quite well so far, aren't you?
So far,
Confident?
not really.
No. Right. Why Jill?
She got 2 wrong, and the Star Wars one especially, I know the answer to that, so.
Right. Jill, where are you from?
Derbyshire.
Oh, I'm afraid you're going back there very soon. Statistically, you're the worst player. With 4 votes, you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
I wasn't very surprised to be voted off in the first round. When I realised I'd got 2 questions wrong, I sort of knew in my own heart that it was going to be me. I think it will probably be Bryn or Heather that may be voted off next. They both seemed a little bit shaky on their answers. I think Heather had possibly more general knowledge, but she was a little bit more hesitant.
Round 2, you've won £570 so far out of a possible £1,000. 8 of you left. We are now taking 10 seconds off the clock. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Adam. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Adam, on which of the Channel Islands does the Battle of the Flowers take place?
Jersey.
Correct. Michael, in transport, what A is a device operated by the foot that controls the speed of a vehicle?
Accelerator.
Correct. Miranda, name the long-running BBC TV series which centred around a character called James Herriot.
All creatures great and small.
Correct. Bryn, a candle is 9 centimetres high. As it burns, it shrinks 32 millimetres. How tall is it now in millimetres?
40.
58 millimetres. Hassan, in history, the Reformation occurred during which century, the 16th or the 17th?
17th.
The 16th century. Andrea, created by T.S. Eliot, what kind of animals are Mr. Mistopheles, Macavity and
Cats.
Gus? Correct. Dave, in literature, which doctor was taught by his parrot Polynesia to understand the language of animals?
Dr. Dolittle.
Correct. Heather, in which English county would you find the city of St Albans and the town of Watford?
Hertfordshire.
Correct. Adam,
Bank.
the molten rock discharged in a stream by a volcano is known as what?
Lava.
Correct. Michael, in what decade was the Family Allowance Act introduced to give payments to parents? 1920s, 1930s or 1940s?
40s.
Correct. Miranda, in film, what Holly is the American actress who starred in Broadcast News and the Piano?
Pass.
Hunter. Bryn, Las Palmas is a city in which island group?
The Canaries.
Correct. Hassan, according to the poet Byron, the English winter ends in July to recommence when? August or September?
August.
Correct. Andrea, what S is the name given to the Mexican dish, which is a salad, sauce and relish all in one?
Salsa.
Correct. Dave, what film company did Charlie Chaplin, Douglas Fairbanks, Mary Pickford and D.W. Griffith form in 1919?
United Artists.
Correct. Heather,
Bank.
in which US state is Big Bend National Park located, Texas or California?
Texas.
Correct. Adam, in pop music, which ancient city provided David Gray with his recent hit single?
Babylon.
Correct. Michael, Does the Indian Ocean lie off the east or the west coast of Australia?
East.
West. Miranda. What S is produced from plants such as corn and grass, which have been stored in airtight silos for use as animal fodder?
Sucrose.
Silage. Bryn. In the United States, the Democrats are one of the main political parties. Which is the other?
Republican.
Correct. Hassan. In biology, what bee is the name for the thick layer of fat under the skin of marine mammals?
Blubber.
Correct. Andrea, in 1939, the BBC television service closed down for the duration of World War II. Which cartoon character featured in the last programme transmitted?
Mickey Mouse.
Correct. Dave. What H is the name given to a tropical cyclone also known as a typhoon?
Hurricane.
Correct. Heather.
Bank.
Stocking stitch and moss stitch are used in which handicraft?
Knitting.
Correct. Adam. Time is up. You only got 5 questions wrong, team, but disappointingly, given the performance, you managed to bank only £570. Now, who is stopping you reaching your targets? There is no room for charity or kindness. One of you is about to leave with nothing. It's time to vote off the weakest link.
This time, Heather is the strongest link statistically, while Miranda is the weakest player. But will the voting reflect this?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Miranda.
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 Hassan.
Bryn.
Michael.
Bryn.
Andrea, why Miranda?
She got 2 questions wrong, I think. Did she get all of them wrong? She got a few wrong, more than anybody else I noticed.
Dave, how is it for you so far?
Steady up to now.
Right. What was wrong with Miranda?
I felt that she got more questions wrong that round than anyone else.
Right. Heather, you don't like Miranda?
Yes, I do like Miranda, but I think she was the weakest link.
I'm afraid you're off, Miranda. 4 votes. You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Well, I feel gutted because, well, I knew I was going to be voted off, getting 2 questions wrong, but they were awful questions. I think Bryn will probably be voted off next. He seems to be a bit unsure now, and it's pretty close between everybody, but Bryn, I would say.
Round 3. Now, by now, you could have won £2,000. In fact, you have in the bank £1,140. You are down to 7 players. We are taking another 10 seconds off the clock. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Heather. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Heather, in history, Canute became king of which country in 1016?
Sorry, it's gone.
England. Adam, is the town of Dumbarton to be found near the Firth of Clyde or Firth of Forth?
Firth of Forth.
Firth of Clyde. Michael, how many hours behind GMT is Central Standard Time?
2.
6. Bryn, in the animal kingdom, what H is a large fish-eating wading bird with long legs and a long pointed bill?
Heron.
Correct. Hassan, in pop music, which American state featured in the title of UK hit singles by the Beach Boys and the Mamas and the Papas?
California.
Correct. Andrea, what is the name of the Museum of Decorative Arts in London's South Kensington, founded in the 19th century?
Victoria and Albert.
Correct. Dave.
Bank.
In theatre, who wrote the play Antony and Cleopatra in 1606?
Julius Caesar.
William Shakespeare. Heather, in nature, do grapefruit grow on vines or trees?
Trees.
Correct. Adam, which Bob Fosse film musical was released in 1972 and starred Liza Minnelli?
Don't know.
Cabaret. Michael, in medicine, if you had to visit a dermatologist, which part of your body would be affected?
Skin.
Correct. Bryn, in art, Sir William Chambers designed a pagoda for which London Botanical Garden?
Q.
Correct. Hassan, which D is a sea mammal known for breathing through a blowhole on the top of its head?
Dolphin.
Correct. Andrea, what character did Julie Newmar and Eartha Kitt both play in the 1960s Batman television series?
Catwoman.
Correct. Dave, in science, what Q is the smallest amount of energy that a system can gain or lose?
Pass.
Quantum. Heather, which brother is the famous father of Aeneas Gallagher, Noel or Liam?
Liam.
Noel. Adam, In TV, name the army sergeant played by Phil Silvers in the US sitcom The Phil Silvers Show.
Don't know.
Bilko. Michael. In literature, who wrote Robinson Crusoe in 1719?
Stevenson.
Daniel Defoe. Bryn. On what river does the city of Leeds stand?
Pass.
Air. Hassan. In pop music, which male artist had a hit in both 1976 and 1994 with Don't Go Breaking My Heart?
Elton John.
Correct. Andrea, in food, what C is a waxy substance found in animal fats which can cause clogging of the arteries?
Cholesterol.
Correct. Dave, in what year was the first mass-produced personal computer launched in the UK, 77 or 81?
77.
Correct. Heather, in the children's classic The Jungle Book, what type of... Time is up. I cannot complete the question. And in that round, team, you banked a very, very unimpressive £200. Who is now looking stupid in comparison to the rest of you? Who's gone from dim to dimmest? Who can't hack it? It's time to vote off the weakest link.
After being the strongest player in round 1, Adam is now the weakest link, having got none of his questions right. Andrea is the strongest player statistically. But will the voting follow the facts?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Adam.
Michael.
Dave.
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 Adam.
Dave.
How do you think you're doing, Hassan?
Reasonably.
What's Dave done to upset you?
Basically, it was a toss-up between him and Adam. Although Adam, I think, had the worst round the last round, he did have better rounds previously, and Dave started to look a bit nervous.
Right. How are you doing, Heather?
Not so good on that round.
No, pretty awful, actually.
Dreadful.
And what did Dave do to upset you?
Didn't upset me, but it was hard to choose anyone.
Actually, you were worse in that round than he was.
Probably was.
Right. So, Dave, take us through some more plays that Julius Caesar's written.
Yes, I had a bit of a block on that one.
OK, well, it cost you. Statistically, Adam was the worst player, but it's votes that count. With 4 votes, Dave, you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
I'm not very happy at all about being voted off at this stage of the game because I felt I was far from the weakest link. The gameplay is starting to get a bit political now. We started off as a good team, but my expulsion proves that there's a lot more than ordinary voting going on here.
Round 4, and of the £3,000 you could have won by now, you've banked 1,340. There are 6 of you left. We are taking another 10 seconds off the clock. You now have only 2.5 minutes. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Andrea. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Andrea, in food, gravlax is a Scandinavian dish made usually from which fish?
Herring.
Salmon. Heather, The Wild Wood and The Piper at the Gates of Dawn are chapters from which children's book by Kenneth Grahame?
Wind in the Willows.
Correct. Adam, in which year was France liberated from German occupation during World War II?
1944.
Correct. Michael,
Bank.
in politics, which party was in power from 1964 to 1970, Labour or Conservative?
Conservative.
Labour. Bryn, by what name is the Italian city of Firenze usually known in Britain?
Florence.
Correct. Hassan, what name is given to the study of the embryo?
Could you repeat the question, please?
What name is given to the study of the embryo?
Pass.
Embryology. Andrea, in the animal kingdom, how many species of raccoon are there, 8 or 18?
8.
18. Heather, which 1981 film is about the runners Eric Liddell and Harold Abrahams?
Pass.
Chariots of Fire. Adam, in which mountain range is Ben Nevis?
Snowdon.
Grampians. Michael, in nature, which bird gives its nest a smooth mud lining, a song thrush or a blackbird?
Blackbird.
Song thrush. Bryn, what is the English translation for the German phrase Auf Wiedersehen?
Goodbye.
Correct. Hassan. In TV, which 60s singing star appeared in both Budgie and Love Hurts?
Adam Faith.
Correct. Andrea. Which Beatles member said, will the people in the cheaper seats clap your hands, all the rest of you, if you'll just rattle your jewellery?
John Lennon.
Correct. Heather. Complete the title of the following 1986 Paul Simon hit single, You Can Call Me What?
Al.
Correct. Adam.
Bank.
In the animal kingdom, are elephants omnivores or herbivores?
Omnivores.
Herbivores. Michael, in which decade was the Hubble Space Telescope launched?
70s.
90s. Bryn, with which sport would you associate Peter Scudamore?
Horse racing.
Correct. Hassan, in which year did the government of North Korea invade South Korea, setting off the Korean War? 1950 or 53?
1950.
Correct. Andrea, in the human body, what would you expect to find developing within an amniotic sac?
A baby.
An embryo, but I'll accept baby. Heather,
Bank.
in clothing, would a snood be worn above or below the waist?
Above.
Correct. Adam.
Bank.
In football, which Premiership team was Peter Taylor managing when he took over from Kevin Keegan as England's caretaker manager in October 2000?
Leicester City.
Correct. Michael,
Bank.
in literature, which Ernest wrote the 1929 novel A Farewell to Arms?
Hemingway.
Correct. Bryn. Time is up. In that round, you managed to bank £390. But who has got to go? Who is past their best? Who needs to be dispatched without delay? It's time to vote off the weakest link.
With all his questions correct, Bryn is now the strongest player. Michael is the weakest link, having got only one question right. But how will the voting go?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Michael.
Adam.
Michael.
Hassan.
Adam.
Adam.
Hassan, not such a good round for you that time, was it?
Well, I've had better.
What did Adam do to upset you?
He hasn't done anything to upset me. He just fell away again this round, where I had faith in the last round.
Oh. Bryn, why Adam?
I thought he had 2 bad rounds.
Right. Of course, he wasn't the worst player, was he, Michael?
No, tragically not.
No, tragically, statistically, you were the worst player. But Adam, with 3 votes, you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
I'm obviously a bit upset about being voted off, but in the round before I was the weakest link, so I probably deserve to go now. There were definitely a couple of people there who didn't do as well as I did because I banked some money and got a couple of questions right. I think Michael will probably be voted off next because he was clearly the weakest link in that round.
Round 5. Your total so far is £1,730. If you'd hit your target, it would be £4,000. Another 10 seconds coming off the time. We start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Bryn. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Bryn, in what year was the first surgical facelift performed by Eugene Hollander, 1901 or 1921?
1921.
1901. Hassan, what type of cuddly children's toy was inspired by US President Theodore Roosevelt's hunting trip in... Correct. Andrea, in the animal kingdom, rabbits live in burrows underground. Do hares?
No.
Correct. Heather, which Nazi parachuted into Britain in 1941 on an unlikely peace mission, dying in Spandau prison in 1987?
Pass.
Rudolf Hess. Michael, in Greek mythology, is Pandora or Athena the goddess of wisdom and war?
Athena.
Correct. Bryn, in nature, what H is the art and science of growing flowers, fruit and vegetables?
Horticulture.
Correct. Hassan, which 6,000-acre forest in Essex is owned and maintained by the Corporation of London?
Epping.
Correct. Andrea, whose albums include The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and The Spiders from Mars?
David Bowie.
Correct. Heather, in food, what M is a word given to a Swiss dish of cereal, fruits and nuts eaten with milk?
Muesli.
Correct. Michael, in film, which British actor played the roles of Alfie Elkins and Harry Palmer?
Michael Caine.
I have to accept your first answer. Bryn, what was the family name of the last Tsar of Russia, Nicholas II, who was murdered in 1918?
Pass.
Romanov. Hassan, in golf, against whom did the USA play for the Ryder Cup?
Europe.
Correct. Andrea, what
Bank.
word is used to describe a natural narrow stretch of sea connecting two large expanses of sea or ocean?
Straight.
Correct. Heather, in music, from which country does the three-stringed instrument, the shamisen, originate? Japan. Michael, what was penicillin discovered by Alexander Fleming in 1925, 1928 or 1932?
25.
1928. Bryn, in the USA, which state is nicknamed the Aloha State?
Dallas.
Hawaii. Hassan, Prime Minister Tony Blair was a member of a band called Ugly what?
Right.
Ugly Rumours. Andrea, based in Padstow, TV chef Rick Stein specialises in what type of cooking?
Fish.
Correct. Heather,
Thanks.
which G is an English opera festival that opened in 1934 with production and boat starts? Time is up. I cannot complete the question, and in that round you banked a very unimpressive and disappointing £140. Who has moved on to being helpless and hopeless? Better to put them out of their misery. It's time to vote off the weakest link.
In a reversal of fortune, Bryn is the weakest link, and for the second time, Andrea is the strongest player. But who will the team vote off?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Michael.
Michael.
Heather.
Michael.
Michael.
Heather, got any hobbies?
Gardening. Walking.
You must be very busy doing those, because you're not very good on music, are you?
I'm not, no.
No. What did Michael do that you didn't like?
I think he's lost confidence.
Right. How was the last round for you, Bryn?
Absolutely terrible.
And you thought Michael was the weakest link, did you?
I can't vote for myself, and there's never any money to bank when it came into my turn.
Right. But statistically, he wasn't the worst player, was he, Bryn?
He certainly wasn't.
Michael, unfortunately, with 4 votes, you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
I think being confident is very important, because if you become nervous, you create mental blocks and your recall ability is not so sharp. I think Andrea will win the competition because her general knowledge is much more sound than the rest, and she's quite confident with it.
Round 6, you've won £1,870. You could have won £5,000 by now. 4 of you left. We are cutting another 10 seconds from your time. We start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Andrea. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Andrea, in TV, in what Boston bar could you find the characters Carla Tortelli and Cliff Clavin?
Cheers.
Correct. Heather, what type of seabird shares its name with a slang term meaning a greedy person?
Pass.
Gannet. Bryn, which composer is pictured on the reverse of a new Bank of England £20 note?
Edward Elgar.
Correct. Hassan. In TV, name the actor who played the character of Lance Corporal Jones in the wartime comedy series Dad's Army.
Clive Dunn.
Correct. Andrea, according to legend, British rule of Gibraltar will end if what animals leave?
Wolves.
Apes. Heather, in geography, what Q is the capital city of Ecuador?
Pass.
Quito. Bryn, the 1999 film The Insider is based on a true story of malpractices in which industry?
Medicine.
Tobacco. Hassan, in which sport are there events called the Vienna Regatta and the Lucerne Regatta?
Rowing.
Correct. Andrea, in classical music, who composed Clair de Lune and La Mer?
Debussy.
Correct. Heather, in literature, the action of James Joyce's 1922 novel Ulysses is inspired by which classic text by Homer?
The Odyssey.
Correct. Bryn, in
Bank.
politics, who was the Conservative leader and Prime Minister in 1970?
Edward Heath.
Correct. Hassan, in what year was the first comic relief Red Nose Day in the UK?
1990.
1988. Andrea, in nature, on which tree would you find large sticky buds with horseshoe-shaped leaf scars beneath?
Ash.
Horse chestnut. Heather, in TV, what do the initials BSC stand for?
I don't know.
Broadcasting Standards Council. Bryn, in which country are the ancient cities of Herculaneum and Pompeii?
Greece.
Italy. Hassan. Which Shakespeare play features the line, I kiss thy hand, but not in flattery?
Macbeth.
Julius Caesar. Andrea, in which 1967 film did Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway play a pair of bank robbers?
Bonnie and Clyde.
Correct. Heather. On the World Wide Web. Time is up. I cannot complete the question. And in that round, you banked only £150, so you are getting worse, not better. Who is now not firing on all cylinders? Who is beyond help? It's time to vote off the weakest link.
Andrea is the strongest link again with the most questions correct. The weakest player is Heather, but will the other players have noticed this?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Heather.
Bryn.
Heather.
Heather.
Hassan, why Heather?
She didn't bank at a time where it might have been handy to bank, so I think that what swayed it for me in the end.
Okay. Andrea, why Heather?
I think she seemed to be losing confidence a bit.
Okay, well, Heather, statistically, you were the worst player. One of your hobbies is walking, so we're going to give you an opportunity to demonstrate that now. With 3 votes, you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
I feel relieved to be voted off. The tension was building, and it's quite a relief. The one question I should have known the answer to was the seabird. I did know it was a gannet, I just couldn't get it out. I think Hassan will win. I think he's got good general knowledge. He's also got plenty of confidence.
Round 7, team. You currently have £2,020 out of the £6,000 you could have won. 3 of you left, another 10 seconds coming off the clock. We start with the strongest link from the last round, that's Andrea. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Andrea, in music, which successful soul group of the 1970s was founded by brothers Morris and Verdine White?
Earth, Wind and Fire.
Correct. Bryn, in the human body, which organ stores bile after it's been produced by the liver?
Kidneys.
Gallbladder. Hassan, in TV, which American puppeteer created Fraggle Rock and The Muppet Show?
Jim Henson.
Correct. Andrea, in which country might you read the Daily Journal newspaper in Caracas?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
In which country might you read the Daily Journal newspaper in Caracas?
Morocco.
Venezuela. Bryn, in which Rodgers and Hammerstein musical is Judd Fry killed in a knife fight with Curly the hero?
Oklahoma.
Correct. Hassan, the Latin phrase Citius Altius Fortius is the motto for which sporting event?
Discus.
Olympic Games. Andrea, with what profession would you associate Oswald Boateng?
Politics.
Fashion. Bryn, traditionally the Feast of the Epiphany is the 12th and final day of the celebrations following Christmas. On which date does it fall?
January the 6th.
Correct. Hassan.
Bang.
What was the former name of Istanbul when it was capital of the Eastern Roman Empire? Correct. Andrea.
Bang.
In Christianity, which Thursday in Lent commemorates the day on which Jesus instituted the Holy Communion?
Passover.
Maundy Thursday. Bryn, in film, in which year of the 1970s was the release of the first Godfather film?
1973.
1972. Hassan, in the human body, the bottom half of the tooth is called the root, but what is the name given to the part above the gum line?
Cat.
The crown. Andrea, in literature, in which district of southwest London has Nigel Williams set 3 comic novels?
Putney.
Wimbledon. Bryn, in which US city would you find the Freedom Trail, a walking route marked throughout the city with a red line?
Washington.
Boston. The time is up, and what a spectacularly dreadful performance. You only answered 5 questions correctly, and you put into your kitty just £40. Now, in round 8, you get the chance to treble what you bank, and that means in the next round, there's £3,000 to be won. The question is, who seriously has now blown their big chance? Who isn't worth keeping? It's time to vote off the weakest link.
In a dramatic reversal of fortune, Andrea is now the weakest link. Hassan is the strongest player for the first time. But at this crucial stage, who will survive the vote?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Hassan.
Andrea.
Bryn.
Well, we have a three-way tie. Andrea, Bryn and Hassan. One vote each. Andrea, what's your excuse for voting for Hassan?
Because I was not wanting to vote tactically. So I thought I'd be fair and go for who I thought was probably the next weakest link after me.
Bryn, think Andrea's opposition, do you?
No, I just thought she was the weakest link in the round.
Who do you think, Andrea, was the weakest link in that round statistically?
I do believe it was probably me.
You do believe it was probably you?
Yes.
Andrea was the weakest link statistically. But when the vote is tied, the strongest link has to cast the deciding vote. Hassan, you are the strongest link. You can change your mind if you wish. Who would you like to get rid of?
Well, I feel that I've got a better chance against Bryn than I would against
Oh,
Andrea.
I see. You're no longer a team player.
No, it's every man for himself now, I'm afraid.
So you're changing your mind. You want Andrea off.
Yes.
You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
I feel quite disappointed to have been voted off in the last round, having lasted that long, which I didn't expect to. I thought Hassan was quite unsportsmanlike to change his vote. I had not voted tactically. I really did think he was the weakest link after myself. I do hope that Bryn will win now after Hassan's change of mind at the end of the last round. I did think it was quite unsportsmanlike, but still, I think that showed me to be the better man.
Round 8. There is £2,060 in the kitty. There could have been 7,000 by now. Bryn and Hassan, just the two of you left, and this time you have only 90 seconds. But whatever you win in this round will be trebled and added to your total to make up your final prize money. So £3,000 is at stake in this round. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Hassan. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Hassan, in a box of 12 chocolates, 1/3 are white chocolate and the rest are milk. How many are milk chocolate?
8.
Correct. Bryn, which US television company uses a peacock for its logo?
MGM.
NBC. Hassan, in association football, how many yards are the goalposts apart?
8 yards.
Correct. Bryn, in art, John James Audubon is famous for drawing what creatures?
Horses.
Birds. Hassan, in 1968, Torquay painted and Brixham merged to become what district in Devon?
Pass.
Torbay. Bryn, in geography, how many countries share a border with Vietnam?
3.
Correct. Hassan.
Bang.
In theatre, with which religion is the concept of Purim plays associated?
Christianity.
Judaism. Bryn, in pop music, Carol Decker was the lead singer of which band?
Pass.
Tipau. Hassan, in which century was the British Home Office established?
20th.
18th. Bryn, who directed the 1959 film Some Like It Hot?
Pass.
Billy Wilder. Hassan, who was the founder and first Chancellor of the German Empire in 1871?
Wilhelm.
Otto von Bismarck. Bryn, in biology, what is the name for the condition of abnormally low body temperature in a warm-blooded animal? Time is up. The answer was hypothermia, and it would have been seriously difficult to do much worse in that round, having got rid of the so-called weakest links and left the two of you here. You didn't make it to £1,000. You didn't even make it to £100. You won only £20. We'll treble that, however, and add it to the winnings from the previous rounds. That means prize money today of £2,120. But, of course, only one of you can take that money away. So now you will be playing against each other head-to-head. I'll ask alternate questions. It's the best of 5. Whoever answers the most correctly wins. It's as simple as that. If there's a tie after 5, we'll go for sudden death until we have a winner. So, Hassan and Bryn, for £2,120, let's play the weakest link. Hassan, as the strongest link in the last round, you have the choice of who goes first.
I'd like to go first, please.
Hassan, what was the name of the first space shuttle to be launched on the 12th of April, 1981?
Columbia.
That is the correct answer. Bryn, in Christian tradition, faith, hope, charity, prudence, temperance and fortitude are 6 of the 7 virtues. What is the 7th?
Prayer.
Correct answer is justice. Hassan, who created the voices for the cartoon characters Porky Pig, Daffy Duck and Bugs Bunny?
Mel Blanc.
That is the correct answer. Bryn, which US state has the motto, North to the Future?
Alaska.
That is the correct answer. Hassan, how many cards are there in a regular pack of tarot
78.
cards? That is the correct answer. Bryn, in Greek mythology, which mountain nymph pined away until only her voice remained?
I don't know.
Correct answer is Echo. Hassan, if you answer this question correctly, then you have won. So for £2,120. In the 1955 film, who played the character Judy alongside James Dean in Rebel Without a Cause?
Pass.
Correct answer is Natalie Wood. Bryn, you need to answer this question correctly to stay in the game. Henry VIII renounced the Pope's authority in 1533 in order to divorce which of his wives?
Catherine of Aragon.
That is the correct answer. Hassan, again, if you answer this question correctly, you have won. So again for £2,120. What is the Aboriginal name given to Ayers Rock in the Northern Territory, Australia?
Wagga Wagga.
Correct answer is Uluru. Bryn, what is the name of the resort in Wales where cult TV series The Prisoner was filmed?
Petra.
Correct answer is Port Merion. That means, Hassan, you are today's strongest link and you go away with £2,120. Bryn, you leave with nothing. Join us again for the weakest link. Bye.
When I came here, I didn't expect to win. I just wanted to enjoy the day, and obviously winning would have been a bonus.
I was amazed that I got through to the final, and when Hassan changed his mind and voted for Andrea instead of me, I was absolutely astonished.
I'm delighted to have won. I'm also very relieved as I felt fatigue was creeping in towards the end, and I felt lucky that I managed to make it through.